Hi, I'm Chris Abrams. I'm the Director of Innovation at Dewey's Pizza. Me and my team are responsible for all the technology within the stores and the corporate office. We tried to do a couple evaluations using Google Spreadsheets and random emails and meetings. And what we found out is that we weren't doing a very good job gathering all the requirements. And so I was looking for a platform that we can easily store, monitor, and distribute needs requirements out to vendors and internally be able to rate vendors responsive. And Olive seemed to be the right tool for me. So we had a real need to centralize all of our needs requirements. Prior, we used to store it in a spreadsheet, email, it'd be a meeting, it'd be in somebody's head, and it never really got to an efficient point where we know exactly what we need to do and the vendor knows exactly what we need to do. So instead of issuing a large formal RFP, we found Olive. And Olive, simplified, kind of took an agile approach to RFP process and needs requirements, which was great. It was easy for marketing to understand, it was easy for operations to understand, it was easy for IT to understand, and HR to understand. And the value that brings to the table is it allows us to come together and sync on the needs and really understand the true needs of the organization. Also, it helps define to the vendors exactly what we're looking for. And Olive as a medium also gives us, if there's some clarification that need to be done, that clarification can happen through the Olive system as opposed to in an email thread that to somebody I didn't see. It allows everybody within our organization who contribute to the needs to also be able to respond to them. One of the project successes that we had with Olive was looking at our next day pay vendor. And within a couple weeks, we had all of this done, had our vendor of choice picked out, as opposed to taking months and months trying to have these separate meetings. So HR was working this, operations was working this, and I was working this from a technology standpoint, looking at how do we integrate our point of sale, our people systems into whatever technology is out there. What ended up happening, and it got very confusing with the very separate meetings HR was having with the salespeople at this one and this vendor and this vendor, and the different meetings that I was having, the different meetings we had from a legal standpoint. So, I introduced the HR team to Olive, say, hey, we had success in doing a mini RFP with the point of sale. We should probably do this with your daily pay vendors. So what we did is we had each of the departments with the HR, which was payroll, people, and culture. We had all of them come back and list all of their requirements, kind of be very clear on the requirements. And then we also listed on there for the vendors to respond to, what are your fees in these various scenarios? Because part of the problems we were facing when we were meeting with HR was the fees weren't very clear on what it was, and it wasn't very specific. So it was, I think they're doing this, I think they're doing that. So what Olive allowed us to do is be very specific on the conditions of the fees, list them out, so all the vendors can respond back to that. And as we see that back, we have everything written down in writing on that tool. Then we can go back, and HR went back and rated each one of those questions. And they came out finding that their preferred vendor wasn't the right vendor for our solution based on fees and some other issues. So that was extremely successful for us. The feedback we got from the head of HR, this was amazing. They loved using this tool. This helped bring everything together, and it was fairly simple. And within a couple weeks, we had all of this done, had our vendor of choice picked out, as opposed to taking months and months trying to have these separate meetings. This, for our digital transformation has been extremely successful, and this tool's helped us clarify a little bit of our thought on where we're doing things about this. And also it's helped us on some other things too, outside of digital transformation. Nowadays, restaurants are constantly changing and leveraging new technology to be able to deliver better experiences to customers and also efficiencies within the restaurants. And at Dewey's, we're always looking at getting better at delivering our experience to the customer and our experience of culture to our employees. During COVID, it was kind of tough. We rushed and put in a whole bunch of new technology. We didn't have delivery at the time, so now we're doing delivery through DoorDash. We didn't have curbside, so we had to quickly pull something together. And at the same time, before COVID, we decided to change our people system and our point of sale. So there's a lot of change in technology that we're trying to transform over the period of time. And we didn't necessarily get the full value of the technology that we were putting in place. So what Olive really kind of fits in with us for this is Olive has a great tool, a very simple tool for people to deliver stories of their needs. And those needs, when we look at it, sometimes like, hey, we have this today. We can do this with this technology. We don't have to look at something else. And then it really helps us go through the exercise of understanding what is it that we truly need to move our business forward. So we found a lot of success when we went through this point of sale exercise with the first test we did with Olive, is we were really getting down on what is it that's truly important? What is it that's going to drive our business together? Not that, hey, I want this blue as opposed to green. That really doesn't change the business. But really getting down into the weeds and the details and delivering these simple stories and getting different parts of the business to contribute. And then all of us reviewing that at an executive level before we move forward and publish that out to the vendors to respond to. This, for our digital transformation has been extremely successful. And this tool has helped us, clarify a little bit of our thought on where we're doing things about this. And also it's helped us on some other things too, outside of digital transformation. The next thing for us for Olive, we're going to leverage the tool to kind of be our QA tool. What we've done is we've taken the 2 or 3 vendors we've selected through the RFP process for the point of sale, and we've got very specific on the requirements we need for each function of the point of sale. Those requirements will then have rankings that our ops team, our HR team, the various teams within our organization are going to go ahead and rank based on what they saw when they're demoing the equipment and as we have it in the lab. And then at the end of the day, when we're done with lab, we're done with testing, we'll have a result that said, hey, on this particular topic, this vendor did better than that vendor. And that's going to give us a very objective view on really what happened outside of any kind of bias that we may have towards one vendor or the other. I also want to say one thing I really appreciate about Olive is that their customer success team has been very awesome. Anytime we needed something, if I needed them to train my team in how to use it, how to do this, or if there's a gap in the software or a feature that I'd like to see, they're extremely responsive to be able to deliver that and give me feedback when it's delivered.